and they like,
this
and
is
everybody
probably one
that he
of
was
Mike's lessons. Of course, his cousin Mike. Of course, I'm sure.
Well, everyone's got to have everyone's got to have a motto. You know, John Wayne Gacy. What people didn't really know is he had a really fun catchphrase. It was like, there goes the Cheerios. Like every single time he shot it, and he strangled a boy, and he came all over himself.
Oh, those were the Cheerios.
That was the Cheerios.
His sperm was the Cheerios. Yeah. Okay.
Well, Richard Ramirez, in fact, in the lineup, after they arrested him and they were trying to find witnesses, bitch was one of the things they had him say in the lineup. And
see, that's why I would be going like, bitch. Yeah. Like you asked me.
Yeah.
He does. Bitch. Is that what you want to hear? Bill.
Yeah, I think it was like, shut your mouth or I'll kill you, bitch. And then Ramirez delivered the line perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it's great actor.
Exactly as he said it.
Like a regular Russell Crowe.
Oh, yes, indeed. Although probably a better singer. I heard a lot of negative comments.
Yeah, he can't sing.
Les Mis.
Well, the next murder, or the next couple of murders, actually, this really starts to take shape, and this is when he starts to get really fucking brutal.
Yes.
He breaks into the house of these people known as the Maxine and Vincent Zazzara.
Okay,
he was 64, she was 44.
Were the first three there, they were all Asian, right?
No, they weren't all Asian. They were Spanish, Asian,
So I mean,
Spanish.
It was Asian, Spanish. Well, that's
and what kind of class of people is he killing here?
Low
in the
class,
anyone.
And then it was because he started neighborhood hopping and city hopping. You would drive to all different areas of Hollywood,
and it wasn't all lower class either. There was some upper class. I mean, he went down
in the beginning. There were some upper class people.
All throughout.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was that's one of the things that made him so hard to catch because there was no pattern to his victims. He would kill and you say like, he didn't kill any Mexican women, Maria Hernandez.
Yeah.
He tried killing her. It didn't matter to him. It was just whoever was there, whoever was easy. He'd go out, he'd scope out the houses, he'd say that one, he'd go in and he would do shit like he did to the Zazzara at 2 a.m. Vincent was sleeping on the couch, just walked up, popped him in the head.
And that became his MO now. Yeah. He takes the dude, kills the dude immediately, and then moves to the woman.
So if you're in a fight with your husband or your wife, just sleep in the bed together. Don't make somebody sleep on the couch. You guys love each other. Say I love you before you go to sleep. It's a very dangerous place to sleep.
So he breaks into the house, shoots the guy. The wife hears him.
Okay.
She goes and finds Vincent's shotgun, her husband's shotgun, and she's about to shoot him. Click. No bullets in the gun. Because Vincent, a couple days before, had taken the bullets out of the gun because their grandchildren had come to visit.
So Vincent, being a nice, good grandfather, doomed his wife to death.
His wife to a problem. Well, this is a problem. Like, did she die?
But we can't have Alex Jones. We can't have Alex Jones hear this. If NRA people hear this, be like, that's why you keep the bullets in the gun. When the Hispanic man comes down knocking on your door.
Did she die in this? Get to that.
Yeah, I have a feeling it wasn't exactly great for her.
Yeah, she absolutely died because after she tried shooting him with the shotgun, boom, 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 3 shots right in the chest, and then she died almost instantly. This is when the mutilation comes in.
Yeah, now he starts getting really. He changes.
Yeah. Here's what police found at the crime scene. This is a little excerpt. This is an excerpt from a book by Clifford L. Lindecker, who wrote a fucking great book. Lindecker. Or maybe Lindecker.
Yeah,
Lindecker, the dick licker? Are you kidding me? This guy was tormented. Lindecker, you're a dick licker. You're going to write...
I will write a wonderful true crime novel one day.
Whatever, Lindecker.
Yeah, I'd like to get him on the show sometime.
It's a comedy podcast. No, Lindecker, please come on the show. I'm not going to say dick licker.
Here's what he said. They would never forget the sight of Maxine Zazzara's mutilated face. Her eyes were gouged out, and the empty sockets were ringed with blackened gobs of blood and tissue. God. The killer had plunged a knife through her left breast, leaving a large rash. There were other cruel injuries to her neck, face, and abdomen, and around the pubic area. She had been butchered.
Yeah.
Really
the closest, the closest celebrity that we could say she looked like was an older Suzanne Summers.
Oh, really unbelievable.
Richard scooped out the eyes, cut the eyes out, put them in a jewelry box, and took him home.
See, that's an interesting. It's like Jerry Orbach all over again.
Doesn't seem like you don't put this.
She gave the gift of sight to one Hispanic serial killer.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he saw anything with her eyes, but he certainly held them in his hands anyway.
That's the thing. It's like, what do you do with his eyes? You know what I mean? If it was me, but I have kind of a gauchier style,
a gauchier
cufflinks.
Yeah, you want your eyes to be used as cufflinks. I just feel like
you gotta keep an eye out for me. You know, I'm like, oh.
So you want to be killed, your eyes gouged out, they're used as cufflinks, so then your serial killer can be punny?
Yeah, a really funny joke at some kind of cocktail party he goes with like Hitler's relatives.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just seems like this woman shouldn't be taken out in a body bag, but like, what do delis wrap sandwiches? You know,
Wax paper?
Like a wax paper. Yeah.
Why though?
Why?
She's meat. He made her straight up deli meat.
Yeah, I mean that was the goal. That's what he wanted. Then she becomes not human at all. He's totally in control. She's his plaything. He can do whatever he wants.
And
with
sexually now, and I don't know this. Is it like Dennis Rader? Is it like BTK? Did he come as soon as he killed her, and when the blood?
It doesn't seem like it wasn't like. It seems like it's not like that. It's more like, I mean, he got hard. He probably jerked off about it for days, but I don't think that it was that fervent, like it because
BTK came like the first time he killed somebody. He came. He's like, I didn't know I was going to do that.
Would build up the suspense of doing it for months. He would wait and he'd let it sit and build and build and build. So of course he just shoots as soon as he's done.
Sure.
Richard Ramirez was just getting one.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he's committing sexual assault, so it's not even just the act. He's raping and getting his release and then murdering.
But he doesn't rape every time. Every time either. Sometimes he just rapes and then walks away.
He's an he was an evil fucker. Like he was just the worst of the worst
just
that ever
he wanted
existed.
to do there.
Yeah.
Well, the first clue that the cops have, besides the AC/DC cap that Richard left at the Maria Hernandez crime
so he
site,
Which
left
made me
hat.
so mad if I left my AC/DC hat.
I bet
You gotta go back and
since
get
he
it.
was like 15.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta go back. You gotta get that AC/DC hat.
I can't believe
back.
I left my hat.
I feel like I'm missing something. Like I shot the dude. I stabbed a girl.
Why is my beautiful hair flowing in the wind?
Oh, my hat! My fucking AC/DC hat. It's my favorite one.
What he left behind at this one would be one of the things that would lead the police to him. The sneakers.
Yes.
The infamous Avia sneakers.
He left his shoes.
Well, this is how. Well, he didn't leave his shoes. He left a footprint behind.
Yeah.
And this is how the police finally figured out that they had a serial killer on their hands, because they found this footprint. They found the same footprints over at Maria Hernandez. They found the same very first victims. They found them around Veronica Yu. They had a link. Finally.
And pretty much that is when that's always when the serial killer cases start to immediately like the secrecy of your actions as a serial killer start to crumble as soon as the idea of the serial killer is put together.
Yeah.
As soon as they know that it's a serial killer, because now they're looking for the comparisons. Because he was obviously playing a game by driving for different cities around Los Angeles so that he could, you separate the crimes. You make it look it's happening over here, it's happening here. You change up MOs, no one can find it.
And at the time, the LAPD was notorious for not communicating within different precincts.
Yeah.
They would
be highly competitive.
Extremely competitive, so they just didn't work together at all. In fact, the guys that were on the case, that were eventually put on the case, same cop that caught Gary Ridgway.
That guy's a great cop, too.
That guy's a fantastic
what's his
cop.
name?
Green River.
The head of the investigator.
I can't remember. We'll get to him on the next episode.
He's such a cool fucking, I was watching interviews with him, and what a great fucking cop.
And of course, Gary Ridgway, the Green his numbers are the highest numbers recorded.
Yeah, and he's got that
plus.
cliff mustache, which is nice
it's
to
really
see.
something. So the man had terrible taste in shoes. That's what I've learned so much about
but he
so
just
far
all
about
black.
Richard Ramirez.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't a fancy dresser, and he wasn't a smooth talker, but he went in and he did what he had to do, kind of like a certain President Lincoln. President Lincoln went out there, he made a career for himself, and that's what you got to do in this world. You got to take the bulls by the horns.
That's right. You know? I'm surprised Avia, now I don't believe that shoe company still exists.
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
They should have hopped on it. They should have hopped on this as a marketing campaign. You want to stalk? You want to look at if I can stab some families?
So quiet, the women won't even hear you sneak into the closet.
Won't even wake up a guy on a couch.
Oh, no. They're still around.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Made by a guy in Oregon.
What?
One man in Oregon.
One man in Oregon.
He's like, I'm going to keep my legacy going. I don't care. Ain't no serial killer going to crush the quiet, beautiful action of my tennis shoe sneakers.
I love those tennis shoes.
Nothing's going to keep Jerry Stubblefield down.
All right. So we have the cops are onto him. They know a serial killer is on the loose.
They know the serial killer's on the loose, but not necessarily. They're not on his trail yet. In May 14th, 1985, he breaks into the house of Bill and Lillian Doy.
I'm sorry.
Bad name. It's a bad name.
It's a bad name. I mean, we're not going to. I mean, the victims, they died horribly.
Do that, you know.
We just
cannot just say do it.
What's the name?
It's hard. it's hard to even say the name
Henry,
Doi without going doi.
Yeah.
Doi. You know, kind of like
Right.
You know, what's his name from Gilbert Grape. There's certain people that have
Leonardo
DiCaprio.
Yeah.
But I won't do that.
No, and you didn't.
above
And
it.
you didn't do it. But Henry, I'm interested. Who did he kill next?
What? Oh,
Who did Richard Ramirez kill? Who? Lillian. Oh,
All right.
oh, interesting.
All right.
All right, so Miss Doi and her husband Doi.
Yes, Bill and Lillian Dole, human beings with pulses and families.
Yeah, so I'm
At least their names weren't like Cracker Pants or something.
Yeah.
You know, like even a worse last name, you know?
Bill Doi. That's right.
Yeah, so Richard Ramirez walks in and shoots Bill in the face.
That's rude
Yeah.
to do.
How do you like that?
I don't like it.
But Bill survived for a bit,
Okay.
and Ramirez beat him unconscious. So he went into Lillian's bedroom, found Lillian there.
That's my grandmother's name, by the way.
Lillian.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
it's
amazing.
It's a beautiful name.
I want to humanize her after you were so rude about Mrs. Doi.
You did it to me.
I didn't do anything.
He bound her with thumb cuffs. So I guess he brought those along, and which this is an interesting thing because Richard rarely brought the weapon of destruction with him unless it was his gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
thumb
found
cuffs-
everything in the house.
Yeah, it was usually he'd use ties, he'd use rope. We'll get
I
to
told
another
you not
thing
to buy
he
that
used.
garden gnome. You know, you just imagine he slams a chicken. Somebody in
Well,
there.
I bet the thumb cuffs. That idea probably came from his cousin Mike. It sounds like because I've
a little
heard of
bit
that
confused.
used in detaining. That's used for quick, like make somebody get their hands behind their back, and it's great for questioning.
Yeah, I think I know
So
what you're going to ask, Ben.
Yeah.
Mike, he was found criminally insane.
Yes, because
And he
of
only
his time spent in Vietnam.
And he only spent 4 years in prison before he was released. And
Yeah.
him and Richard stayed in touch all throughout this time.
So the Doys are not having a good night.
No. Lillian is thumb cuffed. This is when he starts, of course, this is when he starts with the shut up bitch or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Okay. Really getting shut up bitch or I'll kill you. That was the line that he said at the lineup when they brought the witnesses in.
Did he
put the thumb.
do you think he thought about different lines like "keep quiet, woman"?
Oh, we'll get into
Hey,
his
pipe down, lady.
He did turn it into a performance.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, down the line.
He really did. He got to be a master at the performance. So the guy that he had shot in the face and beat unconscious, Bill, he woke up again.
God
He
damn.
crawled to the telephone, and while Richard was busy raping Lillian in the other room, who, by the way, was an invalid as well.
Yes, that was
She
the
was
thing.
an
They slept in
invalid.
separate rooms because she had cerebral palsy. She had
Yeah.
something like,
Yeah.
and she was bound to a hospital bed. And it's a bad crime.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's not like
bizarre.
a funny crime.
No, this
No,
one
it's
is
not. I mean, none of this is funny. That's why we bring light to these monsters are not scary. They are ridiculously stupid people, and we must make fun of.
They're very scary, though.
And they are terrifying. That's the whole
Richard
thing.
Ramirez is a terrifying
Yes, he
Terrifying.
is.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
He's-
Horrible,
yeah,
horrible
yeah.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was just trying to rationalize why we do the show. When we go on CNN and people are
No,
like,
no. That will be years from now
Yeah.
when they do Born to Podcast, the UK. So you're thinking they will examine our lives and see where
Right.
we started.
Right.
The Lillian Doi survived because as soon
Yeah.
as the man called the police, he went back into unconsciousness. Richard heard the sirens coming, and he got the fuck out of there before he was able to kill the woman. And of course, from his injuries at 5:13 that morning.
But not before saving his wife. So, Bill, Henry specifically made fun of his last name quite a bit, but he died a hero.
He died a hero. There were a lot of what's cool. Well, I mean, we'll get into the second when we do the second half of the episode as well.
Yeah.
There are a lot of heroes in this story.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing about normally when we do these serial killer stories, it's to be honest, mostly these people
Dumb
get away
cops.
because it's
Yeah.
dumb cops and competing shit. But it's like honestly, you'll see this story made people kind of step up to the plate.
They did. And,
Yeah.
the end, obviously, we'll get to his capture, but the way that he is
captured
is
is
one of the
incredible. One of the most crazy stories I've ever heard.
Yeah. And, of course, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So the Doys are no longer, or one Doy is no longer with us.
No, one Doi is no longer with us. Let's move on to when he starts to move on.
It's just the way you say it. It's the way you say it, and you do a side look at me real quick, and then you just move on like you didn't do that. You know?
What did I do? It doesn't matter.
Let's continue.
Let's continue with. All right, contain yourself.
All right.
Ma Bell.
That's a fine name. I
Yeah,
like Ma
it's
Bell.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ma Bell.
It was like a neighborhood nickname for her.
Yeah, Ma Bell and
She was
Nettie
horribly
Lang.
murdered.
Florence Lang.
I assume everyone brought up by Marcus will be murdered at some point. in this
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
yes.
definitely. They were 83 and 81, respectively.
Oh, my goodness. God, he went high,
he walked into their house.
Why? I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
9 years old
It's
to a
easy to kill an
paraplegic woman,
80-year-old person.
To an 80-year-old? I mean, yeah.
He walks in the house. Who knows what he had planned to do with him? And that's what this case tells me is I don't think even he knew what he was going to do.
No,
when
he was
walking in.
He was being
houses.
real Johnny Coltrane about it, and improvising.
I mean, I would say if you shoot an 80-year-old on the couch, it's probably at least it's covered in plastic. The couch, so you can just kind of. I mean, I'm serious. Older people. There was something about an older generation. They love to cover everything in plastic. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I'm not making this stuff up.
Those bitch to clean them.
Yeah. Yeah. Put those in the dishwasher. Yeah, you got to dishwash those.
Yeah, you can get all of their weird little Dutch flat hats. Some of them in the brim, stuff like that.
Use a Q-tip maybe.
Yeah.
He walks in. First thing he sees,
It's not bad.
No, it's fine. It's
a
fine.
hammer on the counter.
Yeah.
Grabs the hammer, thwack, bludgeons one woman.
God.
Thwack, goes and bludgeons the other. Goes back to the first woman, gets an idea. He takes
Bing!
the
He's literally
lamp.
how the light bulb shows up like in a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Logistics.
Well, that's very appropriate because he took a lamp, he ripped the cord out, ripped the wires out, and then started shocking Ma Bell with the wires.
Was she alive or dead?
Yes, she was alive.
Yeah.
She was alive,
Yeah.
and he made a makeshift torture device.
These
like
women
that.
survived for 3 more days.
Do you think Mike taught her how to do that as well?
Yeah,
The whole
yes,
Vietnam
because
trip.
honestly, that is a army interrogation
yeah.
technique.
Yeah.
that is what they do. They do that. No, I'm certain when you look because he learned so much from his cousin Mike. His cousin Mike was just the fucking chef board this alphabet soup he's making. You know,
I'm not sure about the analogy, but I'll say yeah.
You know what
'cause
I'm
that's
saying.
my job. Yeah, yeah. All right. So, how long did he torture Miss Bell for?
It's unknown how long he tortured her for, but after he was done with the electrical cord, because after he hit him in the head, he raped them.
yeah.
Okay.
After that, and then that's when again something just clicked in his head. He went and grabbed a tube of Ma Bell's lipstick and drew a pentagram on her inner thigh.
And this is when it became because I think that there's also I imagine he's having insane psychic experiences. I imagine that he just like psychical, like he's having probably like dreams and like walking person like hallucinations. Like they talk about this all the time. His fantasies were always more real than reality. Like that's a big thing with serial killers. He's now literally when they talk about
What
it,
do
it's
you
like
mean his fantasies were more real than reality?
he lived he was a kid and doing these sort of sadistic scenarios in his head for so long. Now it's like like we talk about all the time, like when you're making performing, like we love performing.
Yeah.
When you're finally doing what you want to do and it feels satisfying, there are moments when it feels almost surreal. It feels like you're walking through a dream. He was like,
Well, you're living your dream.
You're
by
living your
definition.
dream.
Yeah.
So he is in this sort of not high. I hate the term high functioning, but he's in this place now.
Seems pretty high functioning, tearing a goddamn lamp off.
He's
and making
going nuts. He's just
makeshift,
going nuts.
shocking device.
He's gone
yeah.
completely feral, and now it's him doing putting the pentagram on her.
Right.
It mean he's like, this is my fucking thesis. This is it's gonna be.
This
for
is my
Satan.
zodiac sending in the fucking
And he drew the pentagram on one bedroom wall, went over and drew a pentagram on the other bedroom wall. And here's an odd thing. When they found
Now
these-
we're going to get to an odd thing?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Here's an odd thing. We've got, how many deaths are we on? We're at 8 deaths so
He
far?
left 9 Snoopy dolls there.
Well, that would actually be. I
be very
had
odd.
10 Snoopy dolls. I only got 1 Snoopy doll. Oh, shit.
Shit! I left it.
it really is an odd thing, especially for a serial killer. He makes himself right at home.
Yeah,
He goes.
Well, this is very similar to BTK again.
he did stuff
You would
like
eat
that.
a cereal.
like it. Yeah, but BTK was doing it to be a dick.
Yeah, he was doing to be a dickhead.
Oh, and Richard was doing it to be.
no, Richard Ramirez
just hungry.
He was hungry.
He ate 2 bananas, drank a couple of cans of soda, pissed in the toilet, didn't flush.
That's rude.
Very rude.
no, if it's yellow, let it mellow.
No, that's true. Maybe he did say that. Yeah.
And a few days later, a handyman found these 2 old women still alive.
God
Whoa,
damn.
They
really?
survived for days. There were multiple skull fracture. There was brain matter exposed. Their vaginas were all chewed up.
Oh, Marcus Parks. Marcus Parks, you're out of the dinner. Get out of dinner. Your mother cooked a nice steak meal, and you're just talking about Ramirez chewing up. Out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only using, not literally chewed up. I'm just saying chewed up in the Texas sense. Like,
No one
you get your arm caught in a combine, your arm's going to be all chewed up, even though it's not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like their vaginas were. Yeah.
It's like a burrito halfway through Henry's destroyed it.
Yeah, no, except it's gone. I don't just chew it and leave it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was a gum type thing.
Yeah. And that is where we're going to end Richard Romero's part one, when Satanism comes in.
I want to ask this, though, quickly, because I always love your guys' opinion. As far as news media goes, he has his pentagram. He has all this press coming in.
Yeah, because they created the Night Stalker.
But is Night Stalker created?
Yes.
Not yet. No, not at this point.
No, it's not yet? Okay.
No. At this point, he's still known as the Walking Killer and the Valley Intruder.
Okay. So the screen door intruder didn't make it.
No, that was very short-lived.
So do you guys think that the fact that the media covered it in such a glamorous way, it fed into him,
Yes.
and then he was
Entirely.
like, this is going to make the front pages,
Yes.
and did the pentagram thing?
Yes, that is why he escalated his brutality, definitely. It's all about attention, because then it becomes, once it gets the thing, these people have such this sense of superiority, they believe that other people are bugs. They look at people like they're fucking animals and bugs. They hate them. They hate everybody else. They want everyone to see, like, I'm the fucking king of the hill now. Everyone's going to be scared of me. If someone sees my face, that was like a part of it when his face gets released later on. He enjoyed it a little bit. Like he liked it a little bit. Yeah, no, he was a student of serial killers as well. He was a guy who grew up reading about serial killers.
Very common.
Same thing. He had the fucking, like, he may as well have had fucking serial killer trading cards. He knew who he wanted to be. He knew he wanted to put himself in serial killer history.
And serial killer trading cards did exist for quite a while.
They did. I remember
As a matter
that.
of fact, they might be around.
Well, we're gonna do more of this next week. There's a lot to it.
The most brutal murders are yet to come.
This guy is this guy legitimately scares me. Reading about his what he escalates to, it gets even scarier. Like it's hard. It's like even after what, like I want to joke, but the murders are just so fucking brutal.
I've been desperately trying to make jokes.
I know, and you've been failing.
Marcus, take that out. That's rude. That's rude. No, I want to say, and I don't know the name of the fella, but somebody just made some amazing fan art and sent it to us on Twitter. Really phenomenal stuff.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. And the last podcast page has been fucking unbelievably awesome.
Yeah, so join the last podcast page on Facebook. Have fun, post shit.
That's
right.
right.
It's a lot of fun. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, Ben Kissel, Marcus Parks, and Henry loves you.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. And then Henry's actually going to be a guest on Top Hat, so check that out. We're going to talk about, speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio, we're going to talk about your experience on Wolf of Wall Street.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to that guy. His name is Nick Wright. His Twitter handle is at FMarvIllustrate.
Hell yeah.
So go follow that guy. He did some amazing fan art.
Yeah, and again, buy
fantastic.
t-shirts from AtomicCotton.com.
That's right.
Show them some love.
And,
They're great.
Yeah, all right, guys. Well, Magusulations.
Congratulations.
Halgeen.
And, of course...
Hail me!
Well, hail yourselves, Henry. Let them hail themselves.
Go ahead. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Well, we love you.
Yeah, all right, good. Yeah, we do love you.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Solid gold.
Like solid gold.
Okay.
Cost $1 million.
Marcus, are these things on?
These things are on, although we did not get all of the Ben is a tuba talk.
Oh, no, yeah. Keep the tuba talk in there. Okay, for those that missed it before the mics were on, Henry said I was a tuba.
You are a tuba because you sound like farts, but you look like $1 million.
Look like $1 million, which seems like a very expensive tuba.
Yeah,
and if you buy a tuba for $1 million, you got ripped off.
Yeah. Some guys walking down the street being like, can you believe I fucking hoisted that broken tuba on that tubaless moron? And then he gets hit by a truck.
Of course,
it's a bunch
naturally.
of different scenarios you can play.
Can I introduce the show, please? Okay, Marcus Parks is here. I am Ben Kissel, and we have hungover Henry Zabrowski.
Hey, you kids go play quiet in the rumpus room so Dad can sleep on the Barca lounger for a little bit, all right? Daddy's having a bit of a headache because Mama won't let him party in the house.
Isn't that sad? So, of course, he's got to drive drunk home.
Yeah, you know how it is, but I'm good driving drunk because I'm confident.
That's
I'm
right.
turning on my turn signals back and forth. You know where I'm going.
Just going straight, though, but turn on the turn signals.
Just so that they're afraid that I'd turn.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how my kids are always going to be afraid when daddy turns.
Well, that's terrifying. All right, well, let's go on to something more terrifying than Henry Zabrowski driving drunk with a car full of children. Richard Ramirez, part 2, the heavy hitter. Marcus, where are we at? He just killed Maybell.
Yeah, he just killed
Bell.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Maybell sounds like a cow.
Well, Ma Bell doesn't sound that.
They called her Ma Bell because her name was Mabel Bell.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's really close.
Yeah.
That is very close. I understand.
It's a clever name. I like it a lot. After Ma
I mean,
Bell.
it's not like
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's just do a quick recap. Yeah. We have a Richard Ramirez made to kill, 5 years old, hurt his head, 2 years old, hurt his head. His cousin Mike shot his wife in front of him.
Taught him how to be a super stealth murderer.
Super stealth.
He started sleeping in cemeteries.
Father was abusive.
Off to pictures of dead women.
Yep.
And now we're here. He's popped off a couple, but once you pop, the fun don't stop.
The fun does not stop except for the people that you're killing violently.
Brutally murdering.
Right.
Yeah. The next victims were Harold and Jean Wu.
Right. No, another Asian couple.
I mean, you are making a big deal out of the different races of the victims.
I am not making a big deal out of it. I'm simply saying that it is interesting that he doesn't seem to have it's a very diverse.
He has no demographic.
He's a diverse spree of kills here. Right?
Absolutely. He's picking. Mom's like, I'm not racist, but every single time she's like, oh, a new Applebee's is opening up. It's run by Orientals.
Well, that would make your mother racist.
What does it matter that it's run by Asian people? First of all, they're Asians, not Orientals.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
It doesn't matter. What I am just saying is your mother is racist. She was married to an NYPD officer for quite a number of years.
So what happened to the Woos?
The Woos, of course, he broke in. Shot the husband in the head as he is wont to do. His MO.
Because he's not a big guy. Big guy. We were talking about this last time. He's your size. He's Marcus's size.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why when you hear his ending, they got to him. But it's like he needed to neutralize any sort of threat immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a small fella. So of course, he kills the man first, the pop to the head. And this guy, was he also on the couch?
He was in the bed.
Okay,
he walked a lot of times. He would do this sometimes where he would walk into the bedroom and just stand over them, just watching them.
Yeah.
He'd shoot the husband in the head, and the wife would wake up, and of course he'd go to town on her as he did with Jean Wu. Put her in the thumb screws.
He loved these thumb screws
because we said again it was used in military interrogation, and he learned how to torture and murder from his cousin who was a Vietnam vet.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he raped the 62-year-old woman.
Oh, no, she was 62.
She was 62, yeah. A lot of the, I would say the majority of the victims were older.
It was a lot of elderly people because it was all about power and control. And, like, this is a person, it's like, I could grab my grandma by the wrists and just, like, break her arms. You know, I could grab her and just go clack and make her a skeleton woman. Like,
I can see that.
Yeah, so you can't, it's just easy to hurt an old woman.
Do you think that as far as, we were talking about when we did our great episode on black serial killers, we discussed the Grim Sleeper. And, of course, when a prostitute goes missing, not a lot of cops go looking. But when a black prostitute goes missing, 0 cops go looking. Do you think that it helped him as far as staying under the people, which we throw away in American society?
And elderly people are held to be super precious. That's just where.
Not in America, though.
No, the Night Stalker was heavily covered. Like the story was heavily covered. The whole thing, people were outraged. He had total control of the city. When the Grim Sleeper was operating, nobody knew he was operating.
Right.
As soon as he started attacking it's children and old people, the most vulnerable members of society. When you attack them, you get the whole fucking city looking for you immediately. Yeah. That's why he got caught.
I mean, you know what? This reminds me of something. It's the Harlem Globetrotters. When they play the Washington Generals.
Tell me.
Harlem Globetrotters know they're going to beat the Washington Generals every goddamn time because the fix is in.
It's in a script.
It's in the script. There's no way he could lose these battles. A 9-year-old, an 82-year-old, a 62-year-old.
So
he's guaranteed to win.
So you're saying Richard Ramirez is the Harlem Globetrotters of serial killers.
Yes, I am.
And that
the fix is it.
The elderly and the children that he murdered are the bumbling Washington Generals. that are riding the finest basketball players of all time.
That's correct, Henry. That's correct.
Let the record state.
This is not on the record.
That is what Ben said.
That is not on the record. That is simply recorded in podcast history forever, but it's not on the record. All right. So anyway, so he shot this guy in the head. Now he's on to his wife.
He shoots the guy in the head. He rapes him.
God damn.
That is where we're at.
What is so
Fucking segues.
unsettling about your performance in these last two Richard Ramirez that there's something deeply unsettling about all this. I don't know what it is, but there's just, something's like making me feel kind of icky.
I look
doesn't
over
matter.
at Kissel, and every once in a while he turns into like a macabre, like circus, like leader with a big top hat on and a sparkly jacket. He's like, yes, yes.
All right.
And then how did he rape her? See the beautiful elephant woman.
All right. Well, don't talk about my wife like that.
So he rapes her, but he leaves her alive.
Because again, he's switching it up back and forth. He switches up different. It seems like he plays it out however it is he's feeling, because he's such a chaotic killer. Because we talked about that too. There's two types of serial killers: chaotic and organized. He's obviously chaotic. It's about sexual rage. He goes in and he improvs, quote unquote, and then it's whatever the ending comes
Just
out
yes
to be.
ands
But there
and
was no
stuff.
pentagrams in this murder.
No pentagrams, no.
So, why did he keep her alive? Did he attempt to kill her and she just happened to live?
No, he just didn't try to kill her.
He just doesn't have to.
Yeah, he just doesn't have to.
Did he ever explain that in later interviews? Why he would keep some of these people
he just
alive?
said that he like legitimately. He said it's because you don't have to.
He just
'Cause
didn't
he's
want to.
totally in control. It's like he becomes God, and then it's like what Ted Bundy said, where it's like I'm God of this universe. I'm your God right now. I
Right.
pick and choose whether you're going to live or you're going to die.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's almost like this is something
He showed
that he will
mercy.
like.
He pats himself on the back,
Right.
and then comes out and then will tear the throat and eyes out of another woman.
So
next week.
in a bizarre way, he's killed a man. He shot him in the head. He raped his wife, but he let her live. So he goes out feeling like a good person.
like a good
mass. I'm doing okay.
It's like when I don't eat all my dumplings. It's like I've got control.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's like that. It's hard to make comparisons in the episode, you know?
It is. Yeah, I mean, we're
there's-
never gonna have the exact parallel situation happen in our lives. But I think the dumpling comparison, that's up there with it. Yeah.
Next victim, Ruth Wilson, 41. He breaks into her home, goes and finds her 12-year-old son, uses him as bait to have her show him exactly where all of the jewelry is, all of the
So now
valuables.
he's into thievery.
No,
which
he's
seems,
always
He
been
always
into
been.
thievery.
Oh, so he's always been stealing
It's
from these
always
houses.
motivated. There was during on the Richard Ramirez Born to Kill. This great officer was kind of talking about how like burglary. There's two types of burglary too, where it's just like a lot of it's like burglary's mostly like drug motivated. It's like you need money for X, Y, and Z, not just drugs, but you're like you need money, so you break in, you take stuff, you get out. And a lot of times people are in the house. You do what you have to do. If you got to tie them up, you tie them up, but if not, you get shit. To the sexual nature of a burglary, about invasion and looking through people's stuff. It's the ultimate voyeurism. You break into their lives. You are in a house, and it becomes a sexual thrill. And that's why when we were talking last episode, is how each scenario kept building and building and building as he was expanding his fantasy.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that. It reminds me of a story from college. There was a fellow named Anthony Schofield. All the girls loved him. He was a skateboarder. He was busted with 856 pairs of panties in his
But in like
grandmother's
the
apartment.
1950s, it was totally